I'm delighted to introduce Chris Kraras, one of our most distinguished, generous, and loyal alumni, as our commencement speaker this afternoon. After teaching political science, social studies, and economics for 10 years in the Daniel Boone School District, where he also served as president of the Teachers Association, and later teaching courses at Reading Area Community College, Mr. Kraras retired from teaching to devote himself to his family-owned group tour business, White Star Tours and White Star Travel Center. Mr. Kraras serves as president and chief executive officer of this nationally based wholesale travel company. He's also president of Hialeah Crest, Timberline Partners, Shearwater Partners Incorporated, Mansion Heights Builders, Kraras Condos Incorporated, Astor Incorporated, Ocean View Cove Incorporated, Tahitian Incorporated, Waterways Incorporated, and Crest Bonanza Incorporated, all building and development ventures in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. And he tells me that some of them are actually profitable. In addition, Mr. Kraras has ownership in several restaurants and hotels in New Jersey, a publishing company in Florida, a baseball team in South Carolina, a machine fabricating company in Pennsylvania, and a gymnastics apparel company here on 13th Street in Reading. In addition to serving on Albright's Board of Trustees and as chair of the Campaign Executive Committee, he also serves as a member of the Board of Directors of the Berks Art Council, is chairman of the Board of Directors of Berks Encore, our Berks County Senior Citizens Council, and is a member of the Board of Directors of the Reading Hospital and Medical Center, the Greater Reading Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Penn Corridor Initiative, and the United Way of Berks County. Much of his life has been devoted to serving his church, Saints Constantine and Helen Greek Orthodox Church of Reading. In recognition of his longtime service to his church, Mr. Kraras was bestowed the honor of Church Archon by the Ecumenical Patriarchate of the Greek Orthodox Church and is currently a member of Leadership 100 of the National Greek Archdiocese. Chris Kraras has received numerous awards, including the Jacob Albright Distinguished Alumni Award and the Outstanding Philanthropist Award from the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Berks Regional Chapter. In 2011, he was inducted into the Junior Achievement Business Hall of Fame. Just a few weeks ago, Albright College recognized Mr. Kraras' extraordinary support, I should say the support of him and his wife, by dedicating Kraras Commons, a lovely gathering space outside of our campus center, which you all have enjoyed. Chris, thank you for all you've done for our community and for our college, for the high standards you've set in business leadership and community service, and for sharing yourself with our graduates and the rest of us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Chris Kraras.
Thank you, Lex. Before I start, I'm not sure who you were talking about, but all those places you think I've gone, it sounds like I get around a lot. I never leave sight of the pagoda. Do you know the pagoda right here? So I'm a homebody, but this is certainly an honor. Lex, all fellow members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, but most of all, graduates and family and friends who are here to celebrate one fabulous day. I also want to point out Barbara Fahey, who explained to you the hooding ceremony. Did anybody get it? It's something that scared me. It sounded like a line from my pledging days in the fraternity, especially throwing stones at the professors and bribing them with wine. So thank you for the explanation. Excuse me. You talk about going full circle. This chapel, I know many of you only get to Albright occasionally because you're at all our various other campuses, but this chapel goes back a long way. Back in the days when I was here at Albright in the 60s, chapel was mandatory, so we had to come in here 2 times a week, and if you missed being here for chapel, they would take credits away from you. And I sat right over in those 2 seats. I would sit one there, and my good friend Karen Reitmeyer, who's a fellow member of the board, and we're both the same age, I'm 65. But she sat next to me right over there, and here I am, and the hardest thing was trying to stay awake every single one of those chapel ceremonies. So now here I am, having come the whole circle, and hoping that somehow I can keep you awake for a few minutes. So bear with me if you would. You probably wondered how in the world did they get a guy like me to address you. I was reading some interesting tidbits about commencements, and I came upon something that I could relate to. Will Ferrell, you know Will Ferrell, the comedian of all people. In all their wisdom, Harvard University had him speak to their commencement in 2003. And his quote was, "After months of seeking the best speakers, many negotiations, all kinds of recommendations, your college chose for you a speaker, and it's me. They obviously have made a grave error, but it's too late, so let's just go with it." So I ask you to bear with me. This morning, we had a graduation across the street of the day undergraduate students, and we had a very distinguished speaker in Bob Spitz, who was a manager for Bruce Springsteen, Elton John, and he's now a famous author. And he graduated 2 years after I did in 1971, and he told the story that deep underneath here, 50 feet below here, there is a vault, and in the vault they have one piece of paper, and on that piece of paper they have a list of names of people you should never ever have as a commencement speaker. Bob Spitz and Chris Kraras are two of those names on the list. So you unfortunately drew the short straw, but we're going to talk to you a little bit anyway. As I mentioned, there was another graduation this morning over at Shirk Stadium, and it was glorious, just like this is. This is a celebration, of course. But this particular graduation this afternoon is extra special. It's not only extra special for you as graduates and all your families, but it's extra special to me and all of us gathered here today, because the path that most of you took to get to this day is certainly different than most of the almost 350 students who graduated earlier today over at Shirk Stadium. Most of you have previously had a chance to start your education at various community colleges, other institutions of higher learning. Most of you have already worked in various professions, and many of you are already established in the workplace and in society. This incredible feat of earning your degree today was probably a lot harder to achieve than the degrees from the earlier graduation that I saw today. And this is something to be lauded and applauded by everyone in this chapel, and certainly by me. I suppose, yes, applaud family and friends. Taking that lead, I suppose one reason that they asked me to be here today is because I'm a commoner of sorts among many of the illustrious people who may have delivered commencement speeches before. I literally was raised right across the street from here in a little luncheonette called the College Inn. Today it's a pizza shop. And I spent all my formative years in and around Albright College. All the students that I got to be close to through those many years and as an adolescent were undergraduates. There was no such thing as a degree completion program, of course, in those days. When I graduated from high school, my natural path led me to Albright College, and I got a fabulous education. But more than that, I had an unbelievable experience that helped me actually grow up as an individual through the many aspects and the gifts that a place like Albright had to offer back in the 60s. Those attributes and the charm of Albright have grown even more substantially, and I'm sure that you realize that this college that has its name imprinted on your diploma that you're going to get today and have with you forever is one that has grown to be one of the most respected institutions, not only in this area, but throughout Pennsylvania and the East Coast and soon to be the West Coast. Just like me, you will learn to be very proud of your Albright College diploma. So the powers that be picked a commoner because I think they realize that I have so much in common with you. I scraped my way financially through college and worked many jobs in order to pay the enormous sum at that time of $500 a semester. And it was tough to come by. My education here always seemed to have meant a lot more to me than many of my classmates during that day undergrad group, and to many other people who had gotten a college education whose parents were able to cover all their expenses at that time. I couldn't just come and enjoy 4 easy years and get a degree. I had to work hard to earn it, and that seems to be the case with almost every one of you seated in this chapel today. You've made tremendous sacrifices over the last couple years in particular. Sacrifices of money, sacrifices of time, sacrifices of enjoying experiences with your family. But you did it. You did it, and here you are. Here you are, and you should feel thrilled to be realizing that you've achieved your dream. You are different ages than the people who graduated earlier today, and that makes it even more compelling that you have special places in all of our hearts that are gathered here today for every one of you. Your ages range from 25 to over 60. As a matter of fact, I heard that the average age is 37 years of age, although you don't look it, I have to tell you. Just think about that and the experiences you all have enjoyed even before you started completing the program that Albright was able to put in front of you. So now you're getting a diploma. What are you going to do with it? Many of you are already set in your career paths, and this will just be a stepping stone to further you in the path that you're on. Many of you will make some changes to your lives and go on to explore aspirations that you were hoping you could achieve now that you have in fact attained a college diploma. But whatever it is, I hope that you put this day down as a glorious day and a day in which you start a completely new part of your life. You see, another reason they picked me is because I'm an optimist. I not only look at a glass as being half full, but I look at it as always being almost full, somehow or another. This is an exciting time for you. An exciting time to be picking up this degree and going on with your life. Life is full of many wonderful things, and I think it's important that you impress upon yourself the positives of life rather than worrying about the negatives. Sure, you're going to face setbacks in the workplace, setbacks physically, setbacks with family issues, and setbacks financially. We all do. But that's part of life. It's a matter of what you do with those setbacks. It separates you from everyone else. I truly believe that you folks, having completed this particular program at Albright, clearly know what I'm talking about. For most of you, this entire experience did not come easy, and it was not without the many challenges that we mentioned. So you probably already have come to look at the positive side of everything, I would hope. It just would not be appropriate for me to be telling you that you can easily leave here today and find a new job and climb the new heights. The normal things that are usually addressed at a college commencement. Instead, I'd like to focus on how you might keep yourselves positive. I suspect your paths are much more clearly paved than those who graduated across the street earlier today. You know where you're going, you have pretty good direction, and you know that the degree that you've just achieved and are enjoying today is what's going to take you to the next level. If that's not the case, I suggest that you think about what you need to do to make yourself happy. Go on in life appreciating all the wonderful things that God has put here for us to enjoy. Whenever you get frustrated or in any way challenged, concentrate on simple things like the chirping birds, the beautiful blue sky, this wonderful weather that we have today, or maybe the snow falling, or rain coming down in the window. Think about how beautiful all those things are. Think about your families. Think about your children. One of the quotes that I read from a commencement speech by, of all people, comedian Jon Stewart, was funny, but it gave an interesting message. As I read his speech, I saw that a lot of it was humorous, but he ended up with something that you might want to take with you. His parting words to the graduates were, love what you do, and then get good at it. It's pretty profound. Love what you do, and then get good at it. It's so much easier to focus on the positive when you're doing what you love to do. And it's even better if you get good at it. I know in my life, my career path has changed several times because I was sort of following John Stewart's advice and not knowing it. As Lex mentioned, I went from starting out as a teacher and then opened up some hotels and restaurants, running tour companies and all kinds of other interests in business. But all the way, I enjoyed what I was doing, as my previous experiences helped me prepare for the next one. Today, I challenge each and every one of you to continue in whatever career path you have or might want, and the job that you have, and the aspirations that you have, but find some way to enjoy it. Whenever you're doing something that is in fact not fun, find a way to change that around. I say to my employees that there's two ways of looking at life and work. You either live to work or you work to live. You either live to work or work to live. I suggest that you work so that you can live and you can enjoy your work, and it will make life even sweeter. I wanted to add a couple quotes that I found from some other well-done commencement speeches, just for some thoughts to take along with you today. One of them came from Steve Jobs, the fellow who ran Apple Computer and died just recently. He had a message at the Stanford University commencement in 2005 where he said, "Your time is limited," and it was prophetic for him. It was right when he was getting sick. "So don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become." How true is that? Jerry Zucker, a Hollywood producer, wrote, "It doesn't matter that your dream came true if you spent your whole life sleeping. So get out there and go for it, but don't be caught waiting. It's great to plan for your future, just don't live there, because really nothing ever happens in the future. Whatever happens, happens now. So live your life where the action is, now, and enjoy it." And for many of you, that's so true. David Calhoun, a businessman, wrote, "Understand," and spoke, "Understand that whatever," this is important because this is something you should put into all of those other formulas. "Understand that whatever else may fail you, whatever bad luck or failure may befall you, your personal integrity is always in your own hands and can never be taken away from you." And then, of course, you have to include Winston Churchill in all talks. He gave one to his preparatory school in 1941, right in the middle of the war. And he said, "Never give in as you would have expected. Never give in, never, 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 in nothing great, small, large, or petty. Never give in except to conviction, honor, and good sense." So I say to you, in summing up, follow your heart, live your life where the action is, hold high your personal integrity, and never give up. So as you leave here today and go on with your lives, I would ask that you all once again consider leaving here as the happiest people on earth, embracing your families and your friends. Be inspired when you leave here today by what you've accomplished. Be grateful today as you leave, to your families, to your employers, and to anyone who helped bring you to this day. Give thanks to God as you leave here today for giving you the strength to persevere so that you could live in this moment. Be grateful that there's a program and an institution like the one that was created here at Albright that helped make all of this possible for you. Walk out of this chapel today with the biggest smiles, knowing that you have accomplished and knowing how much more there is to conquer. Give somebody a hug. Hug everybody, anybody. How about when we leave here, we have the biggest cohort you ever had? I'll join you right outside the chapel. Let's have a group hug when it's all over. Show your love, show your appreciation, and show your feelings. Go on in life in the same positive way that brought you here. Leave here today with the broadest grin of anybody anywhere. I know I have the broadest grin, just knowing that I could be part of your lives for a few minutes. I pray that your paths continue to be paved so that you can achieve all that is possible for each and every one of you. God bless you.